Hello everyone! In this week's video, I'll be creating my own outfit designs and dressing up my original character in Stitchy. Ever since I was young, I've always really liked dress-up games and designing my own outfits. I always think it's fun picking out outfits and making characters look cute. I've thought it would be neat to have a dress-up game of my own. However, I don't know how to do all the fancy coding and stuff. I just want to design the outfits because that's the fun part. Now with Stitchy, that is possible. Stitchy is a makeup and dress-up app game for iOS and Android that lets you design your own items. In Stitchy, you get to create your own studio where you put your items for sale, and the other users can buy the items that you have for sale. What I really like is that you can use whatever drawing software you want to draw your designs, and then you can upload them to Stitchy. I really love this feature because I can use the tools that I'm used to using, like Clip Studio Paint. Also, if you don't have any drawing software, you can design directly in Stitchy. Also, Stitchy is sponsoring this video, and they did ask me to try out the app, but all thoughts and opinions are my own. Anyways, I'll stop telling you about Stitchy and actually show you it so we can start designing our own outfits. So I've opened Stitchy on my iPad. When you open it for the first time, you'll be prompted to create a username. Mine is Love to Draw Manga. Also, thank you to Ganadara for following me even though I didn't do anything yet. There are many different areas we can go to. For now, we are going to go to my wardrobe. This is where we pick our outfits. There are two bases to pick from, a tall girl base and a chibi base. Also, Stitchy informed me that they will be adding a male base soon, so we can also design outfits for males in the near future, and I think that's really cool. For now, I'm going to pick the tall girl base. So here's our wardrobe. There are many categories, like what we are currently wearing, hair, face, clothes, accessories, and backgrounds. If I select an item and then click the Customize button, we can learn how to customize items. Like I mentioned earlier, you can use the drawing tool provided in Stitchy, or draw them on the computer. I also found I was able to open the files on my iPad, but we'll talk about that in a minute. I decided to take a look at the Stitchy drawing tool. It is neat, and I think that it's nice that they provide an option to design outfits if you don't have a drawing software. However, this drawing tool does seem to be pretty simple and kinda limited. The app seems to kinda know this since they do recommend to try the item manager on the computer for more delicate work. So that's what I'm going to do. If you click Draw on Computer, I am told to create an ID and password. That way I can sync the items between the online item manager and the app. After I create my ID and password, I am given this link to the online item manager. So I hop onto my computer, go to the website, and sign in. Now we are in the item manager. I pick the tall base so I can look at the items for it. Kind of like in the app, there are a bunch of different categories and items. Look at all of these, there are so many. Anyways, I start by looking at the hair. The hair can be broken up into different parts like the front and back and sideburns. Is that what you call them? So to make a new item, we need to edit a pre-existing one. Don't worry, this won't get rid of the original item. I was really concerned about that. If you want to edit each item individually, you can download the PNG file for each item and open it in your software. I was able to open these PNG files in all softwares like Procreate, Ibis Paint, Clip Studio Paint, and so on with no problems. So if you work on your iPad or phone, you can edit the items on those. If you'd like to edit and make a bunch of items at once, you can download the PSD file. I thought this sounded easier than editing each item individually, so I downloaded the PSD. PSD files are for Photoshop, but I was able to open them in Procreate and Clip Studio Paint. I did try to open it in Ibis Paint, but it was not supported. I was able to save the PSD as an image to my iPad and then open that in Ibis, but it would be hard to draw over this since the base is wearing clothes. I think it'd be nice if the developers allowed you to download the base without any items on it. This would make designing on all devices with many different softwares much easier. Anyways, we are now in Clip Studio Paint on my computer and I have the character file open. I'm going to start by customizing the face. So I turn off the different layers like the hair, eyes, nose, and so on. I'm going to start by sketching out the details, so I make a new layer and start sketching over the base. I want to make this base look like my original character Doris. She is the main character of my webcomic, My Next Door Neighbors. It was kind of interesting trying to draw my character's face on a head that I didn't draw. I had to play around with the placement a bit for it to look right. Thankfully, the base was a head shape that is pretty similar to what I usually draw. After getting the details in place, I turned my sketch blue and started working on the different components. Also, I changed the background color to make it a bit lighter because it was a little dark for my liking. I'm starting with the eyes. As I work on the eyes, I keep making new layers as needed, but then once I don't need them to be separated, I merge them together to keep everything clean and organized. I make sure to keep the different elements on their own single layers, like the eyes are their own layer, the nose is its own layer, the mouth is its own layer, and so on. I'm going to need to upload all of these components as their own files later on, so having them be on their own layer will make things easier later. Also, you don't need to keep merging things together like I merged the line art and the coloring layers for my eyes together, but you could just have them be in their own folder or something. Like I mentioned, I kept merging layers just to keep things together and make there be less layers because there are a lot of layers. So after the eyes, I drew the nose. I draw a dot for the tip in the nose, a line for the bridge, and I added a little bit of blush to the nose. When I went to add the eyebrows, I noticed that the eyebrows are included with the eyes for the original eyes. So I did the same. I drew the eyebrows on my eye layer. Also, I really recommend naming your layers when doing this. I don't usually name my layers, but it makes things way easier. Now it's time for the hair, and the hair is a bit different because Doris's hair is kind of a medium length. I need to break it up into two pieces. The front piece that goes in front of the torso and can go on top of things, and the back piece that goes behind everything. We don't want the back of the hair to go on top of things like the shoulders. So I drew most of the line art for the hair and start coloring it. The front parts of the hair are on their own layer, and the back parts of the hair are on a different layer. To make things a little bit easier right now, I made all of the coloring be on the same layer. So I need the front part to cover the head and the ears, but the back part needs to go behind the shoulders and everything. So I separate the hair into two different pieces after the ears. The front piece now looks like this. Now I need to make the back bit, so I place the back part of the hair below all the other layers. And then I fill in the back part of the hair with a darker color so it looks shaded. So the back part is like this, and when we add the front part, we get the full hairstyle. Yay! I added a few more details like hair highlights and extra lines to make the hair look more like hair. So now we have Doris, but we need to make her some clothes. Also, I feel the need to point out that Doris is not this busty for some reason. Anyways, let's draw her an outfit. So I turn off all the items, lower the opacity of the base, and start sketching over the base. This outfit is an outfit that Doris wears once in one of the older chapters. For some reason, I always remember this outfit even though I only drew it once. I think it's because I really like the sweater and I think it's kind of cute. So I thought I would put this outfit into Stitchy. For the line art, I used color line art to kind of match the base and how it has colored line art. While doing this, you want to make sure that your design doesn't go into the base and that it's a bit larger than the base. In a few spots, I accidentally drew into the area of the base, and I had to fix that so the shirt would cover it up. For the jeans, I just modified the default jeans because I thought they were pretty cute. I just made them longer and got rid of some of the details and slightly changed the color. For the shoes, I'm drawing the shoes that Doris pretty much always wears. They are just a simple dark gray and blue sneaker. Okay, so now that we have all the items done, we can start saving them as their own file and uploading them to the item manager. So I need to save each item as its own PNG file. So to do this, I copy my layer, in this case the blush layer. Then I click File, and then I click Create New from Clipboard. This makes a new canvas with the item I copied. I make sure to turn off the background so that it is transparent. This is very important because we only want to save our item and not the item with a white background. and then I save this file to my computer as a .png file. PNG files keep a transparent background, so you want to make sure to save it as a PNG. I basically just repeat this process for the rest of the files. I copy, create new from clipboard, turn off the background layer, then save as a PNG. After I do this with all the items, we can head back to the item manager. So I'm going to start by uploading the hair. I chose this piece to edit. Like I mentioned earlier, this won't get rid of the original hair, it'll make a new design instead. So I click upload, then I need to agree that I'm following all the rules and stuff. Then I find the front hair file on my computer. Once it's loaded in, I need to pick where the game displays the hair. So I keep playing around with these settings here until I feel like the hair is in the right spot. Then I upload the back part of the hair and repeat the same process. It can be a little tricky to line things up. I really had to play around with the numbers to get them to line up perfectly. Once I feel like the item is good, I click finish and ta-da, it's now here. I forgot to name the hair, so I had to edit it again to name it. This does make another version of the hair, but it's okay. I can delete the items in the app if I want to. So now I just do the same upload process for all of the other items. Also, make sure to upload the items into the correct category, that way it'll be sorted correctly in the app. That's really important. So like, don't upload pants into the shirt area or eyes into like the earring area. Also, the facial features were really tricky to get into the right place. I kept opening my original file in Clip Studio Paint and looking at that as my reference for where I should place everything. The ears were a very helpful reference for the placement of the facial features. So after I uploaded all the items, I decided to make more items. Don't worry, I won't make you watch this process of me making them, but I thought it would be fun if Doris had more than one outfit. So I drew her party outfit that she wears in an upcoming chapter that I actually haven't posted yet. So it's kind of a spoiler, but I really liked this outfit and her curled hair, so I wanted to make it in Stitchy. I basically just repeated the same process I did for the first outfit, so I don't need to go over all of that again. So now let's go back to Stitchy and dress up Doris. Now that we are back in Stitchy, we can see my new items that I uploaded to the item manager from my computer. Also, they sync super fast, like right when I added an item or remove the item, they sync within like seconds of each other, so that's really nice. First, I'm going to dress up Doris in her first outfit. I go to all of the different areas and find the items that I uploaded. Also, I kind of wish that this thing right here wouldn't cover up the face. It doesn't do that on my phone, but on my iPad it does. So I hope they fix that in a future update or something so that this doesn't cover up the face. After finding all the items, the base now looks like Doris. This is so neat and cool. It's kind of like I have my own dress-up game, but I don't need to code and do all the fancy stuff. I can just do the fun part of making all of the fashion designs. After I dress up in an outfit, I can take a picture by pressing this button. I can save it to my outfit diary and set it as my profile picture. Now let's see how the other outfit looks. I really want to make more of my characters in this. I want to dress them all up. Like I want to make Annabelle and Faith and Raylan. And maybe once I add the boys, I can add Chase and Brayson. So I think that'd be a lot of fun. Like I mentioned earlier, we are able to sell the items that we make to other users. So let's set up my shop. To do this, I click on the Put on Showcase button. And then I click Create Studio. I'm going to name my studio Love to Draw Manga so it's easy to find, I guess. After that, you can pick what your studio looks like. I think this is really neat. I really like this one, so I choose this. Next is the sign. I was super indecisive and kept going through all of the different options. I kept looking through all of them and changing them until I found one that I liked. Oh, you can also pick what inside the windows looks like, which is kind of cute. Okay, I think this looks good. Now I can put my items on sale. Once again, we have to agree that we are following all the rules. We want this to be a fun and safe place for everyone. Then we can pick the prices of the item. 50 is the cheapest I can make it for this item, so I set it to that price. Once I click release, it is now in the showcase. If I want to, I can share that I posted a new item on my social media. Also, there's a new feature called social sharing. You can post to Twitter like this person did. I like their outfit, so I click on the link and I can see the items that they are wearing. If I click on the item and click order, I'll be taken into the Stitchy app and then I can order the item. I think this is a really cool feature that they included. So after releasing a few items, I click this button to go to my showcase, and here we can see my different items that are for sale. I can easily add new items from here by clicking this button. After I posted my items, some people liked my picture that I took and the items I posted, so I earned acorns. When I heard that this game had in-game currency that you could buy with real-world money, I thought to myself, oh, another app that has in-game currency that'll be really hard to get unless I want to pay actual money. Well, it turns out there are actually a lot of ways to earn acorns. You get acorns when people follow you, heart your stuff, buy your items, or say what's up. You also get acorns when you say what's up to other users. I think it's really neat that there are so many ways to earn acorns, and because I know that when I heart someone's post, it gives that person free acorns, it makes me want to like people's things even more because I know it gives them acorns. Also, what's really cool is that you can trade your acorns for real world money. So if you sell a bunch of items in your shop, you can earn a little bit of money. I think that's really neat. I've been having so much fun playing this app in my free time. I really want to make more designs and characters. I would love to have more of my characters in here to dress up. If you download Stitchy, I'd love if you followed me and maybe take a look at my designs. I think it would be fun if even more people joined the Stitchy community and shared their designs with everyone. So yeah, that is Stitchy, and here are the outfits I made. Also, there's an option to share the items you make with your friends. You can share up to 10 gifts per item. I think this is really neat, so I'm going to share the Doris items with some of you. Like I mentioned, I can only share up to 10 gifts per item, so you have to act really fast in order to claim the gift. More info and the gift links will be in the description. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm kind of getting to live out my little dream of having my own dress-up game, but all I have to do is design the outfits. Thank you so much to my lovely patrons for supporting me and my work. It means so much to me. And thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all next week in my next video. Bye!